On the discovery of a body on March 19th, 2010, it began the beginning of Canada's most notorious and complex criminal investigation. Near Galloping Goose Regional Trail in Langford, BC, on Vancouver Island, the badly burned remains of an 18-year-old Kimberley Proctor was found on a rock ledge underneath a bridge. This location was popular with local youth and became the crime scene that shocked the nation. Kimberly's body was discovered 5 days after she was reported missing by her family. The condition of her remains a grim testament to just how brutal her murder was. And we'll get into it. And welcome to the Decomposing Flower podcast. We're excited to have you here with us as we delve into some truly intriguing and, yes, occasionally disturbing true crime cases. I'm your host, Kira, and with me is Jen. Everything we say in our podcast is information that we have gathered from testimonies, interviews, documents, and trustful sources. Any opinion we say is our own opinion. If we get any information wrong, please feel free to let us know in the comments. We mean no disrespect to any of the victims or anyone affected by this case. Today, we're going to be discussing the case of Kimberley Proctor, who is also known as Galloping Goose murder case. Before we get started, I just want to give a couple trigger warnings. There's going to be some talk about mutilation, incineration, and it's just a really tragic case. But if any of that is upsetting or you feel unsafe to listen, please feel free to check out one of our other episodes and take care of yourself. Make sure you get yourself a snack today, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Kimberley Proctor was an 18-year-old high school student who was described by her father, Fred Proctor, as gentle to a fault. She was a natural peacemaker and a problem solver among her friends. She was a great kid with a big heart who had a lot to look forward to, including graduating high school. She had her prom dress plans to make with her grandmother. Her murder created a huge void in her family's life. Once they had found her body, the police response was immediate and unprecedented. One of the people who recommended this case actually lived right beside it, and I got to talk to him, and he said there was cops everywhere. You couldn't get within like a 20-foot radius of this place. It was like locked up. The Vancouver RCMP reported that in the 3 months following the discovery, they had a dedicated team of officers that followed up and conducted over 250 formal interviews. So this case was a high priority. In the initial days before suspects were identified, the public warned joggers and cyclists to be cautious when using this popular trail, stating they can't be certain that there wasn't a further risk to the public. A turning point in the investigation came not from the physical evidence at the scene, but from the analysis of the digital communications. Investigators uncovered evidence that led to the identification and arrest of two subjects, Kruse and Cameron Moffat, two of Kimberly's classmates. Their online chat logs and the contents of the wiretaps that the police planted provided a chilling and detailed account of the crime's premeditated nature. The digital trail revealed a sinister plan that included the disturbing discussions of SA, torture, and mutilation. The fact that the perpetrators had morbid fantasies and they were so clearly documented and planning this prior to the crime was just so fucking gross. A particular disturbing chat logs from 7 days after the murder showed Moffat casually suggesting, "That wasn't so hard, we should do it again." An examination of Kimberly's body revealed that she was suffocated and mutilated with a knife. The perpetrators admitted to placing her body in a freezer and transporting it in a hockey bag on a public bus before setting it on fire underneath the bridge. During the conversations between the perpetrators and their family, as well as Moffat's 9-hour police review, it revealed the internal dynamics and the blame shifting between the two. I always love watching the people record the police interviews because I always see where they have like those two perpetrators and they're like, "Yeah, well, Bilbo Baggins, he's turning on you right now. He's cracking wide open. If you don't tell us everything you know, you're going to go down for the crime. Yeah, you're going to go down for the crime." So Kruse who was 16, and Cameron Moffat, who was 17, they weren't just, murderers, but they were fucking gross people. Wellwood was diagnosed as a sexual sadist with a very strong psychopathic traits and a strong indicator for necrophilia. They found that he was aroused by the suffering of others and history of rape fantasies. His casual laughter when in the police questioning was so gross, so gross. Moffat also was equally just as troubling. While he wasn't diagnosed, he had a tendency for sexual deviancy and the drive for kind of like the thrill of it all. He had a history of being defiant, antisocial, and a conduct disorder that started in his early childhood. Then, when the two of them found each other, it was just a recipe for disaster. The transcripts of the jailhouse conversations between his parents reveal a chilling lack of empathy as he jokes about buffing up in prison. Oh, prison's not that bad. I'm just getting a sick pump today. No mention of how bad I just murdered someone and feel awful for their family for taking away this magnificent part of their life. No, I'm just gonna go, I think I'm gonna cut actually, so I get my abs nice and well toned. Like, seriously? So, to talk more about like Wellwood and how that all happened, his father, Robert Diswan, was serving a life sentence for a 2001 murder of a 16-year-old girl, Cherish Oppenham. In a recorded conversation with his mother, Nadine, Wellwood discussed that his actions could have been the result of his father and his actions. And his mother said that she was directly responsible for giving birth to him and causing these crimes, which is just so sad. The judge stated during the sentencing that the murders were so horrific that no words can adequately convey the inhumane cruelty. Wellwood and Moffat admitted in court that they lured Kimberly to Wellwood's home. They proceeded to tie her up, gag her, essay her, beat her, and suffocate her. The violence escalated further when they mutilated her body with a knife over a period of several hours. In the aftermath, they placed her body in the freezer overnight, and the following day, they transported her body in a hockey bag on a public bus all the way to the trail where they set it on fire. I can't even imagine being on the bus and someone's just sitting next to you with the bag, but you never really know what's in a bag.
Yeah, I always think about how we like every year we probably pass by someone who has just potentially have killed somebody.
Yeah, killed someone, essayed someone, just done horrible things to someone. Crazy that they're just out there walking. But following their arrest, they pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, as they should. And in a critical legal development, the Supreme Court sentenced both teenagers as adults, which was a decision that was not opposed by their own lawyers. Even their lawyers were like, yeah, they're fucked. The judge concluded that the youth sentence wouldn't have been sufficient for their behavior. They both received a life sentence with no possibility of parole for 10 years. Adult sentencing, although it's really rare, it does happen. And I'm very glad that in this case, they got in. Psychologists at the hearing described that they had an extreme tendency for sexual deviance and conduct disorder. They were both at a high risk to rape and kill again for up to 40 years. More than a decade later, when they tried to go for parole in 2014, so last year, at the time of this recording, Cameron Moffat was still deemed to be a high risk to reoffend, and he has a tendency for impulsive behavior, poor decision-making skills, and he still has the sexual deviant tendencies. But I just want to go back to remembering Kimberly. Kimberly's family started an advocacy campaign to start a new piece of legislation. This is, well, they were trying to get it started as Kimberly's Law, but they have since renamed it to the Safe Care Act, which proposed that there should be a legal system for continuing to force at-risk youth with mental health or addiction issues into treatment, which was a direct response to the perceived systematic failures that allowed Wellwood and Moffat's behavior to escalate and remained unchecked. Despite the family's efforts, the bill has still not been passed. It was read in British Columbia, but it has yet to continue on anywhere else. And they still have to go through continued suffering as there's still ongoing parole hearings, and it's just going to be a perpetual reminder that they have to deliver these victim impact statements detailing the loss and the continued trauma that they have to relive to keep these people in prison. The murder of Kimberley Proctor is an enduring symbol of something that continues to haunt the community and the family. And just a solemn reminder that the struggle for justice is ongoing, always. So thank you so much for listening. We hope we explained this case with as much factual information as we could. Again, we meant no harm, and we're just starting a discussion. If anything we said was wrong, please let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.